When I say 7, y'all say days. Hunting for the cheese like a mouse in a maze. Been down all my life, mama thought it was a phase. Same OG, guess I'm stuck in my ways. Last night I had a dream.
Welcome to Neutral Voices, the place where your voice matters. And this is our Voice of the People segment. Hey, I have to say, this is one of my
Hey,
favorites.
what's up
Why?
in there,
because
everybody?
it's all about you,
Yeah,
right?
come
all
on in.
about
Come on
you.
in, let's
Have a
holler at us.
conversation with us.
So, yes, don't
Holla
forget,
at
leave
us.
comments. And you are welcome to call in. What is our number, please?
It's 260-310-0663.
That's 260
listen, it's 310.
663.
It's 310
That's right.
0663.
But anyway, so yeah, get back to y'all later. But feel free to call in and don't forget to click like and share. Also
Yes,
subscribe to our
yes.
YouTube page.
Yes.
We have a lot. Last night we had an awesome segment. We talked about the welfare system,
Yes, we did.
welfare, and I tell you, it was so much we didn't get to everything.
It was a lot.
And we also had comments last night, and we want to continue with those comments also tonight. But before we get into that, I want to recap a little bit just to
Okay.
kind of bring people back up to speed from where we left off. Last night we talked about the 6 welfare programs. And see, since you work in that area, we feel like you're the expert on the panel when it comes to that. So share with us
The
about
six-
the 6. Yes.
Well, it's simple. In the basic 6 welfare programs is the TANF, which is known as the cash assistance, the SNAP, which is known as the food stamps, the earned income tax credit, housing, which is the housing and urban development under HUD, and SSI, which is under the Social Security, where if you didn't make enough and you cannot work, that's the Social Security income for people that hadn't been able to work. So
Okay,
those are
now-
the 6 programs.
How long have you been working in this industry?
Oh, over 20 years.
Wow. Yeah. So that's why we rely on him for certain things. So we'll fall back. But let's get the welfare definition. I have a very short version. So my definition is the simple one, and it reads welfare, the financial support given to people in need. But let's go a little deeper. E.
All right, welfare. Welfare is a statutory procedure or a social effect designed to promote the best basic physical and mental well-being of people. Support intends to help people meet the basic needs like food and shelter.
Okay. All right. So some of the other things as we got into those 6 programs, we discovered that there are some traps
Yes.
that people
Yes.
get in dealing with the welfare system.
Right. We did talk about what I call is the welfare trap. You know, how people get in, they get stuck, they cannot get out. How really, instead of it being something temporary, it becomes something that we become dependent on. And with that comes, if people go and try to get employment, to gain employment, they can't afford to work because
Right.
of the benefits. So
Right.
we talked about, instead of, running a race and getting ahead, it's more like walking on a treadmill where you're not really getting anywhere because the welfare system has caused this dependence on the system.
Right.
Right,
And then
right,
one of the
right.
other things we were talking about how it forced people to create the underground economy.
Yes.
So they have to go underground to begin to make things happen and make ends meet. So that's why you have people out on the streets or in the grocery stores trying to sell food stamps, want to pay
Yes,
for your
yes,
groceries so
yes.
you can give them cash money.
Survival mode.
Yes, or bartering. So people, need their car worked on. How do they really do that when they don't get any cash dollars to do those types of things? So then they have to barter. You fix my car, I cut your hair, or I,
Right, right.
cut your
Yeah.
grass, or whatever it takes. So yeah, so we talked about a lot of good stuff, but we're going to get back to some of the things we talked about last night, but we want to get into some of our comments because we know we have quite a few. So let's get our comments out there. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
tonight.
everyone.
What's up,
That's-
good
Hey, how y'all
people?
doing?
Leaving
We
comments.
see
Thank y'all
y'all.
for being with us.
Thank you.
So we posed a question, and the question was, what do you think about our current welfare system? Is it working? Is it broken? we asked you to share your thoughts. So Carmen says, it's working and it's not effective at all. It's doing its job, keeping people impoverished, and I do believe that's on purpose. But I also see why some need it. I just wish there were more tools to help people not rely on it for a lifetime. It should be a band aid to stop the bleeding, to help with recovering, not life support to keep people alive for the rest of their being. Perfect.
Right.
And that goes
That's-
along with the dependence that we are speaking of. And when we think of life support, when I think of life support, I think of something that you literally cannot live without. Like you need it. You don't know how to survive without it. So
Right.
that's a very good reference that Carmen uses in her statement.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, well, I'm not going to say a lot of people, some people actually use it as a lifeline.
Absolutely.
And honestly, it should be a way to basically wean themselves off of it. As far as like, okay, you got 2 years, and these 2 years, here's the steps we're going to get you through so you don't have to depend on us.
Right. I think absolutely. You're right. It should be a stepping stone, instead of just an actual straight across the board, this is your life. And something we talked about last night too is that your pride is sometimes stripped away to where you don't feel like you deserve to take the next step. Sometimes you don't even know how to take the next step.
That's right. I was going to say, we talked about the good and the bad of welfare.
Yeah.
And with that being said, that kind of fell under the bad category
Right.
because we were talking
Yeah.
about how,
Yes.
it does leave you in that state of being dependent and looking, checking the mail, and you feel hostage because you can't work 1 hour over. You can't earn $1 over before you start to, get in the zone where you're
Yes.
losing money.
Correct.
So,
But before we move to our next comment,
mhm.
the question was, is it working? Right now, in this present environment, I say it's working at the best that it can be. Think about how many people are out of jobs
Mhm.
by no means of their own. So, if that safety net was not there,
Yeah.
where would these people
People
be?
be
Absolutely.
So
You're
right,
right.
now, I would say in this present state, it is working to its fullest capacity.
Mhm.
Does it still have flaws?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But for right now, it's working.
And we acknowledge that too, Clarence, that there's the good side. And so that kind of falls on the good side, that in a crisis,
Mhm.
then we can rely on
Right.
welfare.
Right. And you bring up when you say safety net, I think that's a good way to put it. So when we think of a safety net, we think of something that catches us. So does the welfare system catch us, or does the welfare system keep us? So instead of a safety net, I think a lot of times it's
a web.
more like
No.
diving into the ocean and just not being able to get out. So that's a very good reference because that's what it should be, is a safety net.
True.
But again, I think we're broad stroking that
Mhm.
because there are some people that are not going to be able to work for any reason that's not their own.
Period.
So therefore, they do have to have that
Mhm.
lifeline. So let's not broad stroke it. And I'm not,
But when you
saying
say that, are you talking about the 25 to 33% of the people that may have a mental illness
yes,
that need
or physical.
and rely on,
Right.
Right.
or there's 20% that has some type of physical
Yes.
disability
Right.
that may need
Yes.
or rely
Yes.
on?
And believe it or not, and let's not be, I don't mean this to sound funny, but it's going to come out, and I know people are going to take it wrong.
Don't take your
But there are people with mental illness that have children. There are people that are physically handicapped
Yes,
that
there is.
have
Yeah.
children.
That's right.
And they're not going to be able to support them by a
Mhm,
regular
mhm.
job. So, yes, there is a lifeline.
That's right. And then you know what? There's the other side that people don't like to acknowledge. But then there's a small 2 to 20% of the people that may be on drugs or alcohol that may need to use welfare.
Wow.
And then, people get mad. You're buying drugs, but you're on welfare, and you're drinking alcohol, and you're on welfare, and we always trying to judge people and don't know the real situation. You don't know what caused that person to turn to drugs or alcohol in the first place.
That's
and just
true.
because they fell in this place, I was going to say in a pit, but they fell in this place doesn't mean that they have to stay in that place.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
some kind of way they have to begin to pick themselves up. But people around them need to be a support system and stop judging people and try to figure out, is there something you can do? Can you help? But then the welfare system should have something in place that begin to lead people out of that situation, not stay in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because
That's-
who are we as humans to even judge
Right.
who is deemed, needing the help or not needing the help?
Absolutely. Yes.
Jason is our next comment. Jason says part of the problem is that our welfare system has always had a negative work incentive. For every dollar that beneficiaries receive, they can lose 2, 3, or more in additional benefits like housing, food assistance, child care, medical care, and other benefits. Until we have a coordinated system that provides a greater incentive to work than not to work, it is never going to get better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that's one of those things. It's one of those comments, even like the first one that you just want to read a couple times, for me, because that's good. And I agree.
Right.
Yeah,
with that.
that's I agree with that one all the way.
Because you know what? And just with that being said, a lot of times, do you guys know people that's on welfare? And, I'm talking about some of the people that abuse it
Mhm.
because they are out there. And these people will abuse it. And I'm telling you, they getting all this money. They laying in the house. This is what people say. You laying in the house, you sleep warm. I'm out shoveling because I got to go to work. I go to
Mhm.
work. I'm slaving. And you still at home chilling. You cooking because you got all this food. You got $500 worth of food stamps. You at home not doing anything, but I'm doing all this work. And so
And
you
still-
have people that resent family members
Absolutely.
and friends
Mhm.
because they're not working and they're in this situation.
I mean, when you sit back and abuse it, and a person like myself or yourself, you guys, we go to work, hustle, bust our butt, and we barely have enough to
right.
to
Right.
survive.
But we have to be
But
the
then you
ones.
got the person, and I'm not saying all of them. You got some people like, well, I gotta go to work for it. I get $500 worth of food stamps. I get
and they got everything you got or
Yeah,
more.
or
They
more.
got Netflix and
They got
Disney
all
and
this stuff,
that and
and then the
cable
kids dressed out
iPhones
in Jordans and everything, and just like, wow, I
They-
bust my butt. I could barely afford a pair of Jordans, and look at you. You got on Vapor Max.
And
You know what I'm
then-
saying?
and
it-
then tax time come.
Oh, they ball out.
And I'm just saying, and they get taxes too.
Yeah, they ball out. I mean,
So-
they go. It's funny. My mom works at this that Bright Point, and you should see some of the cars that pick up some of these kids.
Oh, you were telling me, and it's funny you were.
You got cars, people pulling up on 26s.
No,
pulling up-
wait. Let's
They pulling
let's
up
make
on
sure.
26s.
26. What are the rims?
Yeah, 26-inch rims, picking up their child and swiping the what's name card for daycare. Are you serious? I mean, some of these cars look better than the people that actually work at the place.
But is there a way that can happen on welfare? I mean, I don't know. Maybe
I'm sure
they're
there's
bartering.
ways anything could
Man.
happen. But
Anything can happen. You're right.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. It's hard to
I
get.
mean,
it's
it's-
hard, and I'm just speaking up for, not everybody feel this way, but for some people, it's hard to really look at women out shopping and they just balling out for real, and they don't care how much they spending for XYZ because they know they got that $700 check coming. They know that their mortgage is paid because they only have to pay $100 a month. They know they got these food stamps that's $800-900. They good. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
mean,
you
it's-
looking at them and you thinking, I'm paying for that. No.
A lot of people do. I mean,
A lot of people do
How
look
you
at
get
them like,
that-
man,
A lot of
I'm
people-
How
paying
you
for
get
that.
that coach bag? I mean, you just do. It's just real talk. But I get it. Anyway, this is Neutral Voices, Voice of the People. And I just want to say welcome and thank you for tuning in tonight. And we are having real conversation about welfare. And we have our commenters because this is Voice of the People.
What's
and we
up,
just want to
people?
acknowledge our people tonight, the voice of
So-
our community.
Louise Smith is watching live with us actually right now, and the comment reads, there are still thousands of people who haven't received money because they screwed up with the first stimulus check.
Yeah.
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 That's-
It's just a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
Who
too.
screwed up? The person, the government?
Well,
Who?
The government.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody screwed up.
I
I
just
haven't
wanna-
gotten
who
any of
screwed
them.
up?
So.
Well, what happened?
Yeah.
Clarence, you
was-
screwed up over there.
No, it wasn't me. Man, it wasn't me. It ain't
But you
all
know
in
what?
my
A lot of
account.
people-
Quit trying to accuse me. It ain't all in my
But you know,
account.
a lot of people never got their first
Yeah.
check.
And the problem
did.
what happened is they tried to rush it out. And if there was any change in your bank account, your address, or any of that, a lot of those checks went back and they're in like the dead letter file. There's things you can do to get them, but you have to contact the IRS and follow up with that. But if there was any change in your bank account, your address, or anything like that, yes, you lost your check.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That is cold.
Hi, Mildred. So Mildred
What's
is also
up?
watching
Hey,
with
Mildred.
us this evening. And Mildred says addiction is a disease like high blood pressure, diabetes, lupus. They need help. And I think that's a good point because they also have children. There are addicts that have children. There are alcoholics that have children. So, I mean, are we going to punish their children because
No.
the parent is an addict?
No, you don't punish the children.
And that's
one
exactly
thing
what
we
Mildred is
can't do.
saying.
But
That's right, and that's why I said, you know, the 2 to 20%
Mhm.
people that are on drugs or whatever you have alcohol, etc. They, like you said, they can have kids. They're human beings. They have situations, hardship. But let's not forget how crises happen. We just talked about how some people are one paycheck away from being homeless,
Right.
Right.
People not
recovering
on
homeless
welfare.
and poverty.
Right. People
Yeah.
who work every day. Yeah.
And then you have some people that should be on welfare, but they have too much pride and they
Mhm.
will never,
right.
you know. And so, so they'll sacrifice, or either they're going to hit up family and borrow and keep borrowing until they stress everybody out.
Mhm.
So, I mean, either way, if we stop judging, I think, you know, and just back up a little bit, give people, you know, a little space. I think that welfare, the whole system can be, I think it
I
can
mean,
be reworked. They need
yeah,
to take a step back.
honestly,
and
I think they need
rework
to
it.
need to rework it, but come up with a strategy, an exit plan
Absolutely.
from the
Listen,
word go.
Well, before
Come
you
up with
put
an
them,
exit
before you
plan.
put them in down the road for the exit plan, you know, one of the things that tripped me out when we were doing research, for me to discover that they had to create a loophole. Well, no, they had a loophole, but they had to close it that prevent the millionaires from getting the food stamps.
Right.
And I'm
Well,
thinking, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean,
And so at some point, because they didn't have a cap on the amount of money or, you know, a minimum, so they were taking advantage of.
well, I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, a strategy
Wouldn't
of
you?
exit.
Wouldn't you?
As far
There
as
has to be a
No.
plan.
It has to
there
be a
has
plan.
to be
there has
some
to
kind
be
of
a
plan,
strategy
a
of exit,
transition.
yeah, to get you off.
Man,
I mean, you come in through the door, out the gate. I mean, this is just my thought process. You come in through the door and you sign up, and the next step, once you sign up and get everything, okay, we're gonna put you here. We're gonna move you here
Into
and-
job training.
Right.
into job training,
Right.
into
Okay.
different things to wean you off within
Job training, education, different
within
classes.
2 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get you
we're
out
gonna
of here.
set goals
I-
for
I
you.
love it.
I mean, set goals. Yeah.
I love it. I love that,
and
Governor.
with that, and I'm gonna go with you, E. With that, when you do get cash assistance, there is a program. It's called Impact,
Okay.
and they do that, and that's part of what's left over from Clinton Welfare to Work program
All
and
right.
things like that.
Yes.
But the problem is that when the power structure change, that's when some of these programs change. It depends on who's in political power a lot of times that tell you how these things are going to work. But
Mhm.
the impact program, it is they give you childcare, they allow you to job search and all that kind of things to help you get off of welfare. And
Yeah.
also Work
That's good.
One, they have a program that trains CNAs. You
Okay,
can
and
go in and-
we're gonna talk about some more of those programs because I know you know them. We have some more comments. This is the voice of the people. Let's hear from the people, and we'll get back to helping the people.
So, Shelly, hi, Shelly. Shelly
Shelley.
says,
Hello,
What's
Miss
happening?
Shelley.
I know this isn't exactly what you are asking, but I wanted to make something clear to some people. I see people say all of the time, oh, they are driving a nice car, nice phone, and so forth. But a lot of people do not realize that foster parents get these cars as well for foster kids. People need to mind their business in the stores. So that kind of comes back to, you know, the judging that we were just speaking
Honey,
of.
I agree with you, but that's hard. So that's why I just, you know, I just said, I'm keeping it real. It makes you feel some type of way, and I do understand that. My parents were foster parents at some point until they adopted the young ladies. But the point is, when you are a foster parent, yeah, all of that's supposed to be for the kids. But a lot of times, and that's why we said we are not saying 100%, but the truth is there are abusers.
Yes.
And so that's why
Yes.
we said there's a good side and there's a bad side, just like anything. And so the bad side is that there are people that commit fraud and they are abusers. And so we have proof of that because the queen of welfare back in the day, Dorothy Woods, and then Miss Taylor, I mean, they was working the system, honey baby. They had over $300,000 in the bank. At least Dorothy Woods did. So I'm just saying, you on welfare and that's how you living. So the point is, and I get what you're saying in respect to that, because I said the same thing. We don't need to judge. But the truth is there are people that abuse it. I know I own a salon, and a lot of people that come through that get the most expensive weave and the most expensive services are people that's on welfare. That's the truth.
Yeah, but with that, Shelley, it's true that foster care people do that, and the problem is, as Dr. V stated, we'll look at the negative and make that the narrative.
Mhm.
You know, we always look at welfare as poor people. We always look at welfare as lazy people. We let that be the narrative
Yes.
for the whole
That's
broad
right. And
stroke.
it shouldn't be. That's
No,
why I
it
gave
shouldn't be.
that's
But-
why I gave the percentages that I gave
Yes,
earlier
you're
when
correct.
I said
You're
there's
correct.
I
Yes,
gave
yes.
those numbers because that's not across the board.
But we're
And we
gonna
know
remember the negative more than
We
anything.
will remember the negative.
Right.
I mean, that's
But
what we mostly
unfortunately-
do.
And that's why we said there's a good and a bad.
And with
Yeah.
any program, especially a program that gives, when you have a program that gives, you're gonna have people who take,
Mhm.
regardless of what the program is. We've got some more comments. Devon Washington, thank you for watching with us.
Hi, niece.
What about the people that have been sheltered by a man making good money? And then when you want to be on your own, you have to be even more stressed trying to start over. And, I think that's something too. We were talking about that a little bit last night. I mean, a lot of people that you see that are dressed nice or have a nice car, that's the lifestyle that maybe they used to live pre-divorce, pre their husband's death,
Right,
pre-cancer.
right.
You don't know that they just bought that car or those
Right.
clothes. Maybe they want to look nice because on the inside,
Yes.
they don't feel nice. So
Mhm.
that's a wonderful point.
Yep.
Thank you for
We,
that.
we did talk
Thank you,
about that
Dr.
too
Yeah.
last night.
Thank you, Devon.
Yes.
Mildred
you, niece.
says, I don't have family here. Y'all want to adopt a light-skinned Puerto Rican?
No.
We already adopted you.
Return to sender.
Hey. Yes, that's awesome. This is Neutral Voices, the voice of the people, and we are reading comments from our commenters, our viewers. Thank you so much, and feel free to call in, leave questions. Don't forget to click, share, and like.
Lots of comments. This is awesome. So Tina says, the system needs a review. As a daycare provider, I heard so many parents tell me how to work the system. I don't
Mhm.
want to know that. I want to know that you're trying to improve your life and that the assistance you are getting is temporary. I want to hear you getting off of the system because it helped you improve. It's so easy to get and abuse that it's actually keeping people on it. Why improve for better when you get more from the system? WIC, healthy families, free childcare, food stamps, free college education, no need to work. I have one certain family I think of that has abused the system, and it just gets me angry.
Yeah.
And that's why I said there's the good, bad, and ugly, and I promise you, it's on all levels.
Right.
Well, I
Right.
mean, like I said,
with,
when,
with everything,
With
anything.
everything.
We say the same thing about education. We say the same thing about housing. What comes to mind for me is that there's some people on housing receiving the HUD assistance, and then HUD never follows up. They don't go back to check, and then those people stay there abusing the system, misusing the system, and then when other people that need it, sign up, they don't have any houses
Right.
available.
Well,
The
I
They
mean,
wait
can't
list
get
is
it.
the
years,
wait list is
3
You've
to
been
forever.
on
5.
it for 25 years, 30 years.
Well, something, and it's funny because I know somebody that just got a hood house, and they got a brand new house.
I know,
Yeah.
but-
I mean, a brand new house, paying $300 a month, and it's just like, wow, what can I get that?
I
I mean, the
know.
house is
It-
immaculate, and it's just like, okay, you're not, they're not
and-
doing right by it. But at the
I
end of the
know.
day, you sit back and be like, man, come on, dog.
And that's just human nature. And, and that's why I'm saying, and that's why I said I'm just keeping it real talk. We sitting in the kitchen talking,
Yes,
right?
yes,
We in the living room
Right, right.
because the facts are these are the conversations that people are having at home. They don't want to share it. They don't want to tell people. They don't want people to think that they're having that conversation. But the truth is the
it's
truth.
the conversation.
Just like
normally
you
have.
just said, you getting a whole house built. You living in a house $300 a month. I know somebody, their house is beautiful. They pay like $180.
Yeah.
Percentage, it is what it is. So,
Right.
good for them. But where is the system that says that you can take advantage of this, but there's a time limit? There's, you
Yeah,
you
that-
can
and
live in this
that's-
house for
It
20
need to be
years.
structured as a time.
Let's
time.
move on and
And
let somebody else
actually-
move it and help them too.
And actually,
Spread
honestly,
the-
instead of doing the welfare like it's doing, they need to be trying to mend families.
men families put that man back in the house, that husband,
Yes,
that
it
father.
need to be man in the family, teaching them. Okay, we're gonna walk through these steps,
That's
but
right.
I mean, you have to now change your mindset.
Right.
Mindset. That's it.
You gotta change the mindset.
elevate that
Elevate it,
mind. That's
yes.
right.
We've got a couple
Hey,
more
who is
comments.
it?
So we actually have a question. It says, have any of you guys on the panel ever been on welfare? I'm going to start out and say no. I've dealt with it a lot in the business that I'm in, but personally, I've never been on any of those programs.
I
And
have.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I have.
we discussed that last night, and E shared his story.
Yeah.
I personally have not, but E is very transparent about his.
Yeah, I
his-
mean,
his
it's
story.
funny when my caseworker was telling me how to get more. Like,
Right.
come on,
And
bro.
to quit the
yeah.
job, to
Yeah,
quit working
you work,
so many
you ain't
hours.
gotta work them in. You can get. No, listen here, a man who don't work is a man who don't eat.
That's biblical.
Bottom
That's in
line.
the book. That's
Period.
in the
That
book.
is
Great
my
scripture.
yes. That is what I live.
That's
That's
in the
what I
book.
live by. If
Yeah.
I don't go get up and go to work, I don't eat. That means my kids don't eat. So at the end of the day, I'm not here to listen to you tell me how to beat the system. Your object is to tell me how to get through the system and get better.
Right.
That's
And they
right.
did, and they didn't
to
do that.
progress.
Yes,
Absolutely.
from good to great, and I
Right.
don't believe there's anything wrong with that.
Nope.
That's
Well, we've
awesome,
got another
awesome comment.
another comment. Mildred says, "It's different when you work for welfare and those trying to get it. You don't see it through the same eyes. How it's supposed to work and how it's really working."
That's true.
And,
That's true.
and
That's
Clarence,
true.
you can speak to that.
Yes.
I'm sure.
There are people that don't want to be on welfare,
Mhm.
and they're trying to work and they're trying to do it, but every so often there's an obstacle. There's something that gets in their way,
Mhm.
and then they fall back. Be it, and we think of the birth of a new child as something beautiful.
Mhm.
But think about it, it's not a trap. But yes, it is a trap in a way that you probably can prevent it. You know the ways to stop from having children. But if there's birth, but you just move forward and you added that extra expense. So you fall back into those things.
But don't they get more money when
No.
they have more children?
No. And that's a myth.
Okay.
In Indiana, well, in the United States, because it goes from state to state, as an adult person, you're only on cash assistance for 60 months. That's 5 years.
Mm.
Now,
You said 60.
60 months.
60.
That's 5 years.
You can get cash money.
You can get as an adult.
Gotcha.
But here's the thing: in Indiana, they do cap children. So after like your second or third child, they're capped, and you won't get additional cash assistance for those additional children.
Okay. But I know you get something for the first one, more for the second one, a little bit
Yeah.
more for the right?
And that's it.
And then, okay, so everybody out there trying to have
So
a
that's
Brady
all,
Bunch.
folks.
Listen. Oh, y'all don't know anything about the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
But you trying to have 6 kids, you better make sure it's for the right reasons because
Right,
you
right,
love them.
right, right.
Okay.
But
Voice of the people. Sorry,
So-
we coming back
Hold on.
to you, Clarence.
Says CSTAT says that there are systems that are helping. If that is so, why are the numbers ever growing?
well, not everybody is working the system the way it should be. There are programs now in Indiana. I'm gonna tell you, we'll cut you off in a minute. We will.
You mean cut off your benefits.
Off your benefits, and you'll have to
Need to be
reapply.
clear.
And
We'll
start
cut
all
you off
over.
in a minute if you're not doing the things that's required of you. Yes, you're gonna be calling us. Why y'all cut my
With-
benefits off?
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. You went $1 over. You worked one extra hour.
It don't even have to be $1.
Oh,
You
The
didn't
wow.
impact
fax your
program.
paperwork in by
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Wow.
But the impact program, if you don't follow through with the impact program, bam, you should. And with the impact program, with the welfare, they do have safeguards to make people want to get off because they can sanction you and you cannot receive the cash assistance for you not fulfilling your obligation to go through
Wow.
these programs. So Indiana, I'm going to tell you, we do it almost right. I'm not saying we do
Okay,
it right,
okay.
but we do it almost right. That's what the food stamps. They have this thing called the able-bodied adult without dependents. That means
That's
if you're
the
between
ABOD.
ABOD, that if you're
I'm
between
learning.
the ages of 18 and 49 and you're an able-bodied person that don't have dependents, you can only get food stamps for 3 months at a time.
Mm.
And after we cut you off that third month, you have to have worked 80 hours within a period of time to be able to reapply. If you have not worked that 80 hours within that period of time, you're not going to be able to reapply and get food stamps. So Indiana has those programs
Okay,
and those
Indiana.
safeguards.
All right, Clarence, you know your thing. This is the voice of the people, and we have a comment.
So this is in relation. I'm going to repeat the question that was posed earlier in case you're just joining us. We asked, what do you think about our current welfare system? Is it working or is it broken? So Nikki says it needs a good overhaul. There are people who have been in it forever and don't look for jobs because they get more by not working. It needs to be a hand to help people get back to where they can get off of it and not continuously use it as a job. I agree with the whole drug testing to be eligible, though. They need to submit to random drug tests unannounced, and if they fail the test, they immediately lose assistance, and they can't reapply. So here's I just have one comment to the end of this. So if you have a family that has 4 children and the mother fails the drug test, you're okay with taking the food stamps out of the house because the mother failed the drug test. So I know a lot of people want people to get drug tested who are on assistance. However, a lot of times it's not the adult that's going to suffer.
Right.
It
It's
is
the
the
kids.
children who cannot get up and go do something for themselves. So I think there is the issue with that, though I do agree with 90% of that.
Mhm.
But I think that the wrong people are going to suffer
Right.
in a situation like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad right there.
I don't agree with the drug testing. I know several states may
It
or
was
may
like-
not still have it because I know they've been trying to deem
It was like 15
unconstitutional.
states
Yes,
at one point.
But I'm not sure if they're all still
Okay.
within standard. But
Okay.
we're talking about drug testing people to get assistance.
Mhm.
Can we drug test CEOs that the government give corporate welfare to?
Man,
Don't you start talking about
Talk-
corporate
talk-
welfare when it's time to
talk
leave
to me, man.
tonight.
I'm just saying. Can we drug test those
We getting
CEOs?
to-
It's your
We
boy.
coming to the end of
I mean,
our
that's that. You boy.
wonderful time.
They
I-
get welfare. Y'all making it light of it.
Come
they
on, talk
get
about it.
welfare.
I-
So
I
can
get
we
with you.
drug test those CEOs that get corporate welfare?
Let's talk about that.
I mean,
corporate
that should be
welfare
if
real fast.
if they do that, everybody if they drug test the normal individual,
you said then they,
they
should
should drug
they
test
should-
the CEOs of the.
What
of the-
is
of-
corporate
of-
welfare?
of
Corporate
in a
welfare
nutshell.
is just like welfare. Corporate welfare are government assistance that's given to corporations to benefit them. Like, they get tax breaks, tax incentives. GM is a corporate welfare in Allen County in Fort Wayne. They
Mhm.
got tax abatements that they not paying taxes on that land and all that in forever.
Mhm.
But that's welfare because it's coming from us and we got to pay for those taxes. So are they going to go up to Michigan and drug test the CEO of GM to make sure that since he getting those welfare and them
It's a
tax
she.
breaks?
It's a she.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
Wow, I get it. I mean, here we go again, y'all. This is Voice of the People, and we have been reading wonderful comments. We still have more comments. We have tons of comments actually that we could get to. So let's do a couple more here.
Okay, so we have a question. Why is there a stipulation that the man cannot be in the house? Is that intentional? If so, the answer is why.
It's simple. That answer is
They trying to destroy families on the low.
Yeah, they're taking
I
away
knew
their
you was
family.
going to say that.
And it's crazy because if you don't have that man structure in the house, it kind of weighs itself to the point where your kids, the single mom or the single dad or single parent have to work 2 or 3 jobs.
Right.
Just adds
So,
more stress to
Now
the
he's not
family.
at home. That parent is not at home because they have to work so many hours. Now the kids are out in the street, so we losing our youth
And
in the process of this, and just losing a whole generation of kids.
And I'm sorry, they've been coming for the family, especially the black family
Yeah.
structure.
They're coming
since
for-
way back. And,
Yeah.
people don't want you to say slavery, so I'm just going to say from way back.
From slavery?
To
I'll
the
say it for you.
shackles.
I'll say it for
I'm
you.
just
Slavery.
saying.
I mean,
they've been coming
it-
for the family.
What's the last one?
We've
Yes.
got another one that is interesting. It says, I'm sorry, but I say take the kids and the food stamps out of the house. People have to be held accountable.
That's a
Wait,
reasonable statement.
wait. Take the kids out.
On the drug, when she said if the mother fails the drug test, and Miss Jill
Oh.
was saying,
Oh, they're just cruel. Now
Yeah,
you take the kids away. And I get it. I mean, if the kids are in harm's way and in danger, that's a different story.
Yeah.
And I can see that. But when we say drugs, people always think is illegal drugs. But what
"That's
about people that
prescription
get
drugs."
yes,
Right,
get
right. The
addicted to
list
drugs
goes
because
on
they
and on and
had a surgery or they're suffering from depression
Right.
and different things. And
You can
come
still
on.
be a wonderful parent.
You could be an awesome
if
parent
you are
and
on,
love it.
medication or things like that.
Yes, so I'm definitely not for that.
Well,
Shame on whoever said that. And I did see one of our commenters. What's up, Roy Ayers? I saw you. How y'all doing?
Lots of
This
comments.
is Neutral
That's
Voices.
awesome.
Listen, we have a lot of comments, and before we leave, I just want to talk real quick. We're just going to mention. Can we talk about the entitlement programs because there's welfare, but then there's things that we're entitled to as a human being. What are
Yes,
those
yes.
for entitlement?
Yeah, and there's a difference between welfare and entitlement programs.
Yes.
The entitlement programs are programs that your tax dollars are paid into that you are due back. That's Social Security, that's unemployment, that's workman's comp, and that's Medicare.
Yes. We deserve that, right? We work
Yes.
hard. And so just so we can balance things out, you needed to know welfare versus entitlement programs. So there's something out there for all of us.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Hey, this is Neutral Voices, just reminding you to be awesome. And listen, everybody's in a different place. Everybody plane is going to land on the runway at a different time. That's just the way it is. If not, we're going to have a serious collision.
Right.
And so
Amen.
we're not here to judge. We're here to inform and bring awareness to all situations, programs, our community, your voice, because it matters here. We have one more comment that we're going to touch before we exit. And so, but meanwhile, we want to remind you to click like and share. Thanks for hanging with us. Do we have our comment? Here it comes.
And before this, remember to join us tomorrow for our most favorite day,
Oh, yeah.
Friday.
Randemonium
night.
Friday. Here's our comment.
If your kids keep doing wrong, do you keep rewarding them?
No,
Yes.
no.
Well, I don't because I don't have kids, but I'm talking about those of you
No.
that do.
So you reward a bad kid?
I don't, but I teach.
Okay. Do you
I
reward?
teach
Do you reward?
students
Do you
in-
reward your students when they act up?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The students tell everything that happens in their household. So parents, in case you didn't know that, no. But yeah, so too many times I see that. People reward children that are bad and they just continue to do that.
Well, and
don't
I
know,
feel
just
like
think it's
this
love.
question is kind of wanting us to focus on is
The
welfare
welfare
a
system.
reward? I don't see welfare as being a reward, but I see what they're getting at
Okay.
to where it could be viewed as that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So come on, talk then, Mama, from a mom's perspective. What
Well,
do you feel?
I don't think they're referencing children. I think that was just to get our mind going. I don't reward my daughter for bad
I mean,
behavior.
I wouldn't-
Absolutely not. But I
wouldn't
don't.
reward. I wouldn't reward nobody if they're doing something bad. Now, it depends. No, let's say this: It depends on the drug. That's what I would think.
Your choice of drug.
It depends on what it
That's
is.
another
So what
topic. We're about to
category
go
of
into a
drugs
whole
is it?
nother
Yeah,
episode.
because I mean, this is a whole nother topic. But you know,
Absolutely.
they legalize marijuana. So I mean, if
Ooh,
in 32 states?
that could open up a whole
that's
lot
what-
right
yeah.
there. 'Cause mom, dad, whoever at the house,
now you
they
playing with
smoking medicinal
yeah.
marijuana. There's
So
a difference.
there's a difference.
Can they still get this food stamp?
Yeah.
This check and these.
It
food
might.
stamps?
Yeah,
It
because
might
they're
be
going to
for
be
help.
hungry. They're definitely going to be. They're definitely
Ooh,
gonna
wait,
be
this
Oh,
is Neutral
Lord.
Voices. This is Neutral Voices. And we hanging out.
Yes.
Hey, this is all about you. This is the Voice of the People segment. And we have had some awesome comments. Thank you to
Thank
all
you.
of
Thank
Thank
our
you, all our
commenters
viewers.
and viewers,
Appreciate
listeners,
y'all.
etc. And please come hang out with us tomorrow for Randomonium. You don't want to miss. We have fun, game night, and it's I'm on the throne, and who knows what might go down.
Yes.
We're
Yeah,
going to take
fine.
turns spinning tomorrow.
Yeah, and
You
the
better not
lady-
let
the
that
lady's
woman
gonna
touch-
Be, the lady's gonna be.
You better not
boss
let that woman
of the
touch
set
that
tomorrow.
spinning wheel.
Join us tomorrow for Randomonium. Thanks, Neutral Voices. See you next time.
We still
We
alive.
are
still
still
alive.
live. I know y'all didn't want to
Come
go
on.
anywhere. It's all right. Come on back. Get in here.
We're just kidding.
Get in here.
Just
Get.
kidding.
This is where when you stay this late, now it's really the living room going down. All right. So listen, I listen. I had something I wasn't gonna go into it, but since y'all still hanging out, let me just share something with you. Y'all ready? Y'all tuning in? Psych. No. Look, I was just kidding. I just wanted to see how I could captivate you.
Oh, no,
Are we
Lord
there?
have mercy.
Listen, don't you start
I ain't said
Yes.
nothing.
just because you had a birthday yesterday. You start
It sound like you
yourself.
hating. It sound like you a little hater.
It's time for toast it up.
I'll toast to that.
All right. I wish it was something other than water,
Really?
Mountain Dew or something. Hey, how about let's tell them something wonderful.
Well, the most wonderful
I think you
thing-
were telling them something about before I think we went somewhere else. You were telling them about some resources real quick
Yes.
in the community.
Well, and not only resources, welfare, as we talked about this, one thing is we got to understand it's never going to go anywhere. It's never going to go because they say the poor you will have with you always.
Right.
So it is our job to, first of all, take care of the poor, but we got to redefine what poor is.
Yes.
Now, poor is those that cannot do for themselves. I do agree that we need to start doing for ourselves. So if you're in a situation, don't let that be your life. Welfare does not have to be a lifeline or a lifestyle. You have abilities. We all have abilities. And I said this on a show before. Your gifts can make room for you. You say you cut hair, you cut grass.
Yes.
You utilize yourself, but also be able to encourage yourself that you will be able to empower yourself, motivate yourself, and move yourself forward. Where you are right now does not dictate where you will end up in the next 5 years.
Right.
Amen.
So-
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Hi,
So
Bill.
keep moving.
So
So
good.
keep moving.
That is so good. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So, Bill, you in the building? we
Bill,
were,
in
we
the
were
building.
looking
What's
for you
up?
to hang
What's
out
up?
with us a little
Bill.
bit tonight. So we just want to say hello and we'll see you next time. This is Neutral Voices. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Mama thought it was a phase. Same OG, guess I'm stuck in my ways. Last night I had a dream.